But that's the thing here as well, though, isn't it? Compared to anywhere else in the world, how many buyers can go in somewhere and pay cash?
Yeah.
You know, even say back to the UK.
Well, even businesses, you know, in the UK and around the world, they won't allow cash to even come in through the business, through the banks.
Yeah.
Whereas Dubai it's cash heavy.
So cash is king here.
Cash is king. You know, most industries will still accept physical cash. They prefer to deal in cash.
Yeah.
So it's going to make a massive change. Hi, and welcome back to the Strada podcast. I'm Jackson, and I'm joined by my colleague Conal.
Hi, how you doing? Just a little brief introduction into myself. I specialise in the off-plan market, and today that's pretty much what we're going to be talking about. So,
going to be discussing everything off-plan. There's been some changes in the laws here in Dubai. I specialise normally in tilalalghaf, as you know, but touch on a lot of off-plan investments as well. So just like to make a few people aware of different changes, how you can utilise off-plan as an investment vehicle, different types of methods that we can use with investing. You know, you have different methods, you like your BRR, buy, renovate,
different strategies, of course.
Different strategies as well. So
some of the changes that's happening in the market recently as well. There's some big changes happened. You know, only recently they changed the law on how you can buy secondary properties. No longer cash-to-cash transfers, physical cash, that is. What do you think to that? What do you think to how that's going to...
Big news, to be honest, because obviously around the rest of the world, that's completely normal. No, like most of the rest of the world, you can't walk into a transfer office with physical cash and buy a property. So, you know, it's aligning with the rest of the world. It is quite big news for Dubai. You know, it's going to affect a lot of transfers. So it'll be interesting to see how that does affect transaction numbers. Because I know, you know, like transactions often, I would say around 30%, 20-30% of the physical cash.
But that's the thing here as well, though, isn't it? Compared to anywhere else in the world, how many buyers can go in somewhere and pay cash? You know, even say back to the UK. The majority of buyers are all mortgage buyers, where it seems to be the opposite here, isn't it?
Well, even businesses, you know, in the UK and around the world, they won't allow cash to even come in through the business, through the banks. Whereas Dubai it's cash heavy.
So cash is king here.
Cash is king. You know, most industries will still accept physical cash. They prefer to deal in cash. So it's going to make a massive change in the whole economics of the UAE, really. You're going to see a lot more businesses now say, oh, we don't want to deal in as much cash. So, you know, I think it's a big push towards kind of going cashless.
Yeah, definitely. And I think coming off the anti-money laundering list and off the grey list, it's a move in the right direction.
Yeah, of course. Gives people confidence in the market.
Now, compared to an off-plan purchase, you can still pay cash to a developer. Do you think that's going to increase the sales of off-plan?
Well, definitely. People who still want to work with physical cash, off-plan is the only section now, obviously, that they can actually buy using that. So it's definitely going to push people down that line into that kind of market. So I think it depends how long really developers are going to accept cash payments as well.
Exactly. Like if it's happened for the secondary market, when is it going to come in? It's not a matter of if, it's more of a matter of when. And I think it's definitely going to come in, and there will be changes made into the ease of buying off-plan. I think that personally, like, it's a bonus for the off-plan market right now. The off-plan market is driving the market forward, and I think the cash buyers before who were buying these properties cash, I think it's actually going to help them because they can leverage their money now off a payment plan. So instead of putting 100% cash down for one property, they could pay the payment plan during construction phase anyway. For maybe two properties and leverage that money and, you know, get a better end result. So
that's always been your favorite thing about off-plan. I feel that you can really leverage your money and spread it across different units. And then obviously your total net worth of properties is going to be higher than if you're parking up all the cash into one property. What other positives would you say there is buying off-plan versus secondary market? What's you know, the biggest selling points of buying off-plan?
Well, it's the capital appreciation. and it's the competitiveness of all the other developers. You know, if you look at the buildings now and the newer communities that are being built, the amenities and everything that's going into these buildings, it's insane. You have buildings with 40, 50 plus amenities, you know, lazy rivers, you name it, cinema rooms, saunas. You know, so I think that's a massive bonus. It's hard to say because now the developers are actually pricing price per square foot similar to the secondary market, as they know that Dubai is still on an upwards trajectory and it's still pushing forward. So it's hard to say the benefits right now, but as you know, in Dubai, if a building's 5 years old or 10 years old, it's classed as ancient, you know, sort of hit its ceiling room for growth.
That's an interesting point that you make, to be honest, because a lot of people do say now, you know, developers aren't giving you that kind of room to grow anymore. It's priced at the same price as the secondary market level. But as you say, the quality that they're delivering and the amenities is a level above this, which the older projects are lacking behind in that kind of area. So yes, it's priced at the same point, but it's a far better project. So of course, once it's ready,
it's a much better product in general. So
realistically, once it's ready, it should be outperforming the ready unit now once it's ready. So, you know, that's an interesting way to look at it.
The ceiling room to grow with them is a lot higher because they're going to be brand new buildings with, like we said, all the latest amenities and everything else. Plus, it's the payment plan. You're not paying 100% for the property. You're only paying X amount during the construction phase. So there's a lot of pros to it. And you know, if you look back at some of the growth that, you know, on some of these projects, it's absolutely crazy. Like, you know, in Marseille, for instance, that grew over 40% last year. So, you know, there's a lot of growth coming.
There's a lot of people who come to us and say, you know, what can I buy now and see the same return that people have seen over the past 2-3 years, which is quite unrealistic, to be honest. It's an unrealistic expectations because we're comparing the market where it dropped to, you know, crazy levels during and post-COVID. And then it had a massive bounce back after the world seeing the way the Dubai government dealt with the pandemic. We've seen like a massive bounce back and people moving here. Definitely. So it just bounced back. The prices went crazy again, just compared to what they went to. Now, you're not going to see that same kind of return realistically. So when people come to us and ask for that kind of return, what areas are you going to see the highest appreciation?
I think you've got to look outside, you know.
Think outside the box, really.
Think outside the box and look outside. And I think definitely look into where the government is investing and where Dubai is heading. And there's no secret, Dubai is heading out to the south. The government has spent a fortune on the infrastructure. There's a lot coming. Palm, Jebel Ali, the airport, Expo City. And in and around these communities, you can buy townhouses now for 1,000 to 1,100 per square foot. So when you compare that to other areas of Dubai, like, yes, it may be far right now, but tomorrow it won't be. So you do have to think ahead. You know, everyone wants, and everyone's used to be honest, in Dubai, these short-term crazy returns. But like we said, you know, it's bounced back now. We have to think a little bit further afield and think, okay, 3 to 5 years, that's where we're going to see the highest growth. And especially nearing completion, because we get a lot of people coming to us and speaking to us and asking, I want to flip this property in 6 months or a year's time, but it's another 2-3 years left in the build. And I think that's an unrealistic approach. And I think there's a lot of brokers out there in the market at the minute preaching that and telling everyone you're going to make 30% in 12 months' time, when in theory, you're not, because the pool of buyers is very, very limited.
Man, I'm sure you know, like, there's so many cowboys in Dubai. Some of these agents are real cowboys, you know. Like, some of the promises I see them making to clients, you know, on their social medias saying, we can make you this kind of money, 40% return in 6 months. Just selling people the dream, just to, you know, make a quick commission. And these are the people who don't really last too long in Dubai, because they come here, they get found out, and they get a bad reputation. They can't really do sales further down the line. But people come here and they work like that. You know, they don't really care. They come here to make fast money. But
I want to build a relationship as well. That you want trust. And I think, you know, you have to be open and honest. And, you know, if people decide to believe what somebody else is telling them, then, you know, what can you do but only advise?
Exactly. Yeah, you can only give honest advice. But, you know, some of these guys, they don't really understand property and the way it works. They don't own property themselves, and they're just talking random figures, literally throwing random figures out there, and people think, oh, that sounds interesting, buy in, and then realizing 6 months down the line, a year down the line, oh, what you said is not true. I can't flip now at this stage, and you know, it gets very messy. So just to all investors out there, make sure you do your due diligence, speak to agents who, you know, have history in investing themselves. They know what they're talking about. They're not going to tell you lies in terms of figures. They're just going to give you their kind of overview and look on the market and, you know, where they see it heading.
And I think it's the honesty, isn't it? I think you can tell if something's too good to be true. A lot of the time, it probably is. You know.
So look, just to touch on what you said about buying into a project just before it hands over. So if people are looking to make big returns fast, that is the best way to do it currently. For example,
most definitely
in tilalalghaf, the handover, let's say the next stage of handover will be November, or a twin villas. So you can pick one up for 5 million dirhams. The only issue is you need to put in 3.5 to 4 million cash. So it's a big...
So it's quite cash heavy, right? So that's going to limit the pool of buyers.
So there's not many people who have that capital sat around to invest. But the ones who do can buy into that product. It's going to hand over in 6 months, 5-6 months. Minute that hands over and the mortgage buyers come into the market, they flood the market. They start pushing the prices up. You're going to see a 10 to... Well, let's say you invest 4 million dirhams. The value of the property is going to go up 10 to 20%.
So you're getting a return on your equity there as well. Because, like you said, it's what you've invested. You're not investing the full amount. You are probably obviously investing quite a lot at this late stage, but still you're going to get a better return on your money.
You're going to get 20 to 25%.
And that's where you're going to do the quick flips, not with, it's still got 3 years left to build. Or 2 years left to build. You know, there's so many more buyers coming to the market when the property's ready. You know, you're no longer buying a piece of paper. You can see the product, you can see the property, and you've also got mortgage buyers then coming into the market. You know, you can't get a mortgage on anything off plan. Obviously, on the handover, that's when you're going to see the more buyers coming in, and you've got the higher chance to get in the best premium.
I think that's the two game plans really with off plan. You either wait until something's close to handover, you buy in just before, which you need a lot of cash, or you're going to have to play the long game. If you are going to buy initial off plan, you're going to have to wait until handover realistically to see your returns. But the benefit of that is you only need to buy it with 10, 20% down, and you have the full payment plan to kind of pump your money into it. Another thing I wanted to touch on as well, another positive about buying off plan is some developers are offering 20/80, 30/70 payment plans. You know, not everyone has the cash available to get a deposit together to buy their property, or they might, but it might take up their full savings.
Of course.
So
they can't get a mortgage right now, and for whatever reason that may be.
Business may be new, or may have just started at a new company.
But they have the deposit, 20-30%, that they can invest, and then later on down the line, they can then look to get the mortgage. And also by that point, they've already got 30% equity in the property. So as long as the bank can come out and value the property to its worth, it shouldn't cost them another penny.
And then they're in a position when it does hand over, usually on a 30/70 payment plan, it's only going to be ready in 18 to 24 months. So once it is ready, you're in a position then where you've paid your deposit, it hands over, you could see a crazy increase on the value. You could think, okay, let's flip it. Or like you say, you then get a loan, your equity's already in the property, you've already put your deposit in, you just move into your house and it's all paid. So it's a really good position to be in.
Now, as terms of projects go, which project are you most excited about at the moment?
There's a lot I'm excited about, to be honest. I'm very excited about Gaff Woods, which obviously is by Majid Al-Futtaim, which is a full forest living community.
You've seen it, looks amazing.
It's amazing. So it's all apartment blocks, but the whole community is going to be like within a forest. They're going to have the most trees within any community.
It's going to be like an Al Barawi feel, with apartments.
So with apartments, but which are more affordable. Aiming for more greenery, better ecosystem, trying to make it, renewable energy and stuff like that there. So, and Majid Al-Futtaim deliver very, very good quality.
I think look at tilalalghaf, so what they're promising, other developers I'm going to be honest, a lot of people would be in two minds about them actually delivering that product. But with what they've done in Tilal,
you know they're going to deliver. Yeah, you know they're going to deliver. Yeah, realistically. Yeah. Other projects, obviously Palm Jebel Ali is a long way away, but I love the Palm Jumeirah, so that could be that could be something.
I think like the Heights by Omar is a fantastic project.
That's down by the airport, right?
Yeah, it's just behind Emirates Road, alongside Expo Road. So the price per square foot there is amazing. They're starting at 2.5 million for a 3-bedroom, but the built-up area is around 2,500. There's around 1,000 per square foot for an EMA product, right? Yeah. So
EMA are known to make very good communities as well.
Exactly, and it's the first phase of the overall plan, should I say? So there's loads more phases to come out, and what EMA do great, every new phase that comes out, they'll increase the price just slightly by around 5%. Yeah. So that protects the buyers in the earlier phases. Yeah. So getting in and the first phase of this master plan, you're destined to make money. You can't go wrong because EMA are only going to keep increasing the prices throughout every phase. And that's going to drive the market forward. So they sort of manipulate it in that regard, but it's obviously a bonus for the buyers in the earlier phases. So,
and I think, like you say, like thinking outside the box, thinking ahead. At the minute, people might say it's quite far away, but realistically, it's not. Once the airport moves down there, Palm Jebel Ali is down there, Palm Jumeirah is down there. Abu Dhabi is, moving fast. That's going to be a real big competitor with Dubai in all aspects: business, sports, real estate. You're a lot closer to Abu Dhabi down that end of town. So really, you're very, very central.
And I think you look at the main roads there as well. You're straight on to the main highways linked in through Dubai. So if you think that the Mac Hills is far, it's not. It's probably another 5 or 10 minutes on top of that. So it's not too far at all. But you've also got quick access to the airport, Palm, and then obviously the future expansion into Dubai South as well. And I think it's affordable, especially with, there's a lot of launches with apartments. Townhouses and villas, there's not so many. Only 15% last year. I know there's been a lot more this year, but still they're not nowhere near me. What's the word I'm looking for, Jess? Fumbled it.
Fumbled the bag. But the demand, and massively, like the townhouse is huge.
Yeah,
like the demand really does outweigh the demand for apartments. And that's not going to go away.
What do you think is 2026 when all these projects do end up starting to hand over in 26? Do you think it might affect the market?
I mean, we've looked at the numbers before, haven't we? Yeah. We've seen, like, with the expected number of the population growing, the rate.
250,000 residents every year. That's what they're pushing.
Versus the units that are going to be delivered. We're still in a good position.
Of that.
I think the demand is still going to be in line with the supply. Yeah. I was here in probably around 2019 when supply was way too high for demand. Yeah. Population's increased since then. A lot more people are investing in property since then because people have faith in the market here in Dubai. Yeah. So I'm not worried about it. Honestly, I'm really not worried. There is obviously a lot of new projects, but there's not enough projects at the minute. The demand really outweighs the supply.
And I think when you live here, you actually believe in the vision. You see how quick things move. You can see the direction it's going in. You can see the hype around Dubai, and you actually hear.
Look what happened with the floods in March. Yeah, they decided, right, we need a drainage system. No, you drive down the road, every road is being ripped up. All the middle of the road, they're building the drains in. The Sheikh Mohammed said, okay, 2040 we're going to make Dubai. By 2040 we're going to make Dubai green. Yeah. Now you see every single roundabout, they've made it green already. It's crazy, like the changes they make. Hesse Street, we was having a problem with traffic into JBC. Yeah. Now within a few days, they've made.
See how quick they've done that bridge?
It's honestly.
I drive past it every day and just think
it's just amazing to live.
The rate that they
see the way that they just see a problem and they fix it. Yeah. No matter what that may be. And everyone who lives here for a short amount of time, they all notice it. Wow, what a place to live.
Exactly. And I think with they have seen a few problems with, say, central Dubai now, with the infrastructure, the road networks, and they're constantly expanding. So I think
going to plan ahead, aren't they?
They're planning ahead now, and I think that's a big bonus towards the south of Dubai. Definitely. The infrastructure they've spent down there. I think I read something the other day. It's like 500 billion AED in the infrastructure alone, and I think the lessons they learned, especially in like the Palm Jumeirah said, there's only one entrance in and out, right? The traffic can get absolutely crazy. The new Palm, you've got 3. So that's going to reduce the traffic massively.
Definitely. You're not going to see the same issues down that for the new communities as you do here. Even with the floods and stuff, they're all going to have a drainage system.
They all have a drainage system.
They're all going to be built a little bit better to withstand any of these kind of things happen.
Because at the end of the day, we're in the desert, so it is a natural disaster when a flood like that does happen. But looking ahead with that, you can see that they're definitely moving in the right direction.
But in conclusion, off-plan still very much a good move.
Oh, 100%. I think that's driving the market forward right now. Definitely, like we said, I think we've touched on a lot of good points there. There's benefits to it. The ease of getting into the market, you can buy an off-plan unit with a passport and a 10% deposit and you're in.
Exactly.
And then you're onto the payment plan. So you've got the ease, you've got the potential for capital appreciation, future development. There's a lot of pros to it. And I think we've touched on some of the possible cons as well to it.
For sure, mate, for sure.
And sort of trying to limit people's expectations and being realistic with it, really. I think it's a good point. Is there anything else we want to touch on, Jacko?
No, that's it. That's good. Just for anyone watching, we both have experience in the secondary market and the off-plan market. We can help in all areas of business in Dubai. We can consult, whether that be, helping people get their visas settled, if they're looking for insurance, if they're looking to move from a different country to the UAE, if they want to know how they can set up the movers, moving over.
Anything from transport, for, from everything, because, we've been through it ourselves, we know it's in dating moving into Dubai. There's where do you get started with your medicals, your visas, what's the right visa, whereabouts do I set my business up, the freehold area and so on and so forth. So we can definitely help in all them areas. We've grown quite a large, expansive network now. So,
definitely. We'd be happy to consult and help everyone in any questions they've got. Feel free to reach out. We'll put the details below. And thanks, everyone, for watching.
Thank you.
See you soon. Awesome, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.